New episodes of the I Know You Didn't Ask podcast are out every Monday and Friday, available wherever you listen to podcasts and on YouTube. Welcome to I Know You Didn't Ask. I'm your host, Megan O'Donnell, and are you following me on Instagram or TikTok at Megan the Podcaster? You guys, one of my TikToks hit 5,000 views, which is really fun, really exciting, and it means that you should be following me. You need to be seeing the content that I'm pumping out. 2 to 3 videos a day, they say, is what is the sweet spot on TikTok. So I mean, that's asking a lot. That's asking a lot for me, but I am pumping out videos, slideshows, carousels across both of those lovely apps. So be sure to check me out there. And if you want to see how cute I look today, go to YouTube or Spotify to see the video version of this episode. I'm wearing a Steve Jobs turtleneck. I usually don't go full turtle. I usually stay in the mock world, but today I'm going full turtleneck. And I'm also wearing these earrings that make me look like a kooky art teacher. I don't know. I'm trying to mix it up. When you pump out episodes at the lightning speed that I am doing, you need to find new ways to accessorize from the waist up. As you always know, I'm always wearing jammies on the bottom. My dog is literally on my lap. There's a blanket involved. So we don't show what's happening on the bottom. You know, comfortable on bottom, business attire on top. So I know Christmas is over, but I'm still living in the past a little bit. I'm clutching on to what was a good holiday season. I'm saying good, not great. But I also have to say I failed you. I failed you, and I am here with a repentance, I guess. I just want to say that in the Kris Jenner Christmas gingerbread house conversation, I said that Grandma MJ was not on the gingerbread house. But you know me, I'm constantly chronically, I guess, online. And I did see that MJ was on the gingerbread house. So again, I know you guys come to me for real hard hitting news, not fake news. This is real news. And I let you down. I let myself down, but I want to come here to just let you guys know MJ was included on the gingerbread house. So as we all know, last night was the 86th annual Golden Globes. Nikki Glaser was the host for the second year in a row. She did a great job. Very funny, pointed jokes at people. And you can tell everybody's buttholes are clenched through that initial monologue. Like, please don't pick me, please don't pick me, please don't pick me. And you could tell there's like, like that fear in their eyes. And I like it. Let's make these celebrities shake in their boots a little bit. God forbid they have, a quippy little one-liner slung at them. She was wearing many beautiful gowns. I think she said on the red carpet that she was going to be in 8 or 9 dresses throughout the entire event, which seems unnecessary. I mean, I'm not, saying repeat an outfit, but I think you could do like a couple segments throughout the show in the same dress. I don't think people will mind. She did have a couple of name flubs that I found particularly funny. One in particular was Priyanka Chopra Jonas. She said Priyanka Chopra Jones. And I don't know, but I felt like I felt attention from Priyanka and as she came up to the podium microphone to introduce whomever she was introducing. I felt like she was like, fuck you, Nikki. I heard what you said. I am a wife of a Jonas brother. Put some respect on my name. Nikki also had the Michael B. Jordan joke in regards to, how dangerously sexy he is. She made a comment that she's going to be Nikki B. Jerkin after the event. I liked that. I liked it. I thought it was clever. I thought it was raunchy, and I like that kind of edgy humor. I will say his mother was sitting next to him in the crowd, so poor mom. But you have to know that people are going to make comments about your sexy son when he's that sexy. Like, it just kind of goes with the territory. But I will say, what was up with the 90s music in between all of the, speakers coming up and people accepting their awards? I felt like I was hearing Usher's Yeah, Rihanna's Pon de Replay, and then the Yeah, Yeah, Yeah's Heads Will Roll on the floor. Like, I just was like a little shocked by all the music throughout. I don't know why it wouldn't be, something topical, but there's a method to everybody's madness. And again, I feel like as a society, we're like harkening back to those days. We're like, remember when Pon de Replay was on nonstop on the radio? Those were the good old days, right? So the 2 clear winners across the board were Adolescence, a television show on Netflix, and One Battle After Another, a film by Paul Thomas Anderson. And so Adolescence, I had never heard of. It's about a family's world being turned upside down when their 13-year-old child is arrested for murdering his schoolmate. Okay, I copy and pasted this blurb from Wikipedia. I didn't read it until this very moment, so I'm a little shocked. I guess the charges against their son forced them to confront every parent's worst nightmare. Yeah, I think that's probably a parent's worst nightmare. I didn't know my kid would be a murderer. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm absolutely going to be digging into this. And you guys, I will say the TV in our bedroom broke this weekend. Don't worry. My husband got us a new one within 24 hours. So that one day was very, very difficult for me. So again, please keep me in your thoughts and prayers moving forward. So I haven't been as tuned in to the tube as I usually am. One Battle After Another. Again, it was a theater-only movie by Paul Thomas Anderson. Bob is a washed-up revolutionary who lives in a state of stoned paranoia, surviving off-grid with his spirited and self-reliant daughter, Willa. When his evil nemesis resurfaces and Willa goes missing, the former radical scrambles to find her as both a father and a daughter, battling the consequences of their pasts. Okay, I did see this in the theater. I did talk about it multiple times on the show. I did fall asleep about 12 minutes into the film, so I subsequently hated it, but I also feel like I need to rewatch it. Everybody was raving over it. But I also do feel like sometimes I'm just simply too dumb to understand films, and that's absolutely plausible and it's realistic for who I am. So you don't have to understand everything. Every movie doesn't have to be for me. Leonardo DiCaprio was at the Golden Globes. He was the star of One Battle After Another. And of course, he was looking dapper as always with his mom. He's a classic Italian mama's boy. They were making some jokes about him with a younger girlfriend, and Nikki Glaser was like, Leo, I literally have nothing else to go off of. Like, that is all there is in the news about you. Give us something so we can make other jokes. But until then, we're just going to simply make fun of your young girlfriends. Timothée Chalamet beat out Leonardo DiCaprio for the Best Actor in a Motion Picture for his work in Marty Supreme. And watching Leo observe Timothy felt like the male version of All About Eve. It was like a true living legend clocking the exact moment that the spotlight is quietly changing hands from himself into Timothy. And it was just very meta to watch that. Timothy did win. He, thanked his partner, my partner, my partner. And I will say, every 5 minutes, the guys who were announcing the show kept bringing up Kylie. They were like, I wonder if Timothy will mention Kylie in his acceptance speech like he did at the Critics' Choice Awards just a few weeks back. It's like, why wouldn't he? They've been together for 3 fucking years. Everybody knows they're together. They weren't wearing matching orange outfits like they were at the Critics' Choice Award. But she's very much sitting there and she's very much his partner. And also, call her by her name. Say her name. Her name is Kylie. Stop calling her your fucking partner. She's living in the shadows, and I don't think that's fair. Julia Roberts was there, strutting her way to the microphone to give someone an award. She received a standing O upon arrival, and I have to say, if you aspire to be anyone in Hollywood, have it be Julia Roberts, because everybody and their mother is completely obsessed with her. During the category where she was nominated, and they have like the many little boxes on the screen where they're showing everybody who is nominated, she was just hitting everybody with the sign language I love you hands. And I just want to say, Julia, I love you too. I saw that hand motion and I wanted to let you know I love you too. You guys, this year there was the best podcast category. I guess I didn't get the memo that I needed to maybe put myself up for it. But of course, Amy Poehler won with her Good Hang podcast. It's a cute show, whatever. Another fucking podcaster starting on third base. It just must be so nice to be a massive fucking celebrity. Good luck winning your Peabody. In 2 years, there's going to be an Oscars category for fucking podcasting. I don't know. I'm just jealous, as you guys know. Alex Cooper's Call Her Daddy was up for it. A show from NPR was up. Smartless, Dax Shepard's Armchair Psychologist. Like, you guys found the most bland, boring white people to give this possible award to. Again, and it's not even like a diversity thing. I just say they're all bland and white because there's so many, creators of color who actually have really great fucking shows and again aren't just celebrities with a fucking microphone. I will say Amy Poehler did make a comment about how other people aren't just celebrities with a microphone, but still I don't know. I just think podcasting is such a great medium and there's so many amazing podcasters out there that I don't know, you give it to fucking Amy Poehler. Doesn't she have enough awards? She's been doing this for 6 months. It's a little bit unfair. And as much as people want to shit on Alex Cooper, she started from nothing like me. She was a nobody when she started and has grown into being one of the biggest female podcasters in the world, if not the biggest. So I kind of personally believe she should have received it. But again, everybody loves Amy Poehler. Everybody loves her show. But like, I don't care about hearing Amy Poehler and Rashida Jones talk about liking peanut butter cookies or whatever the fuck they're talking about. Like, I just don't care. Granted, like the podcasts I listen to are like, yeah, Bravo recaps, or you have Jeff Lewis Live, which is just shit talk for, 10 hours a week. But that's more of me. That's more what I care about. I don't care about two fucking celebrities chit-chatting. I don't care about whatever bullshit they're talking about. Remember that time on set? I don't care. Anyways, I will say, it does bring up some sensitivities when I see people losing on the Golden Globes or any award show. They're obviously showing all of the potential nominees as their names are being called. And then, of course, they name the winner. Like, I don't know, but I'm very sensitive. Like, I would completely cry if I lost. And I'm not like aggressively competitive, like beer pong, cornhole. I can lose, no fucking problem. But if you put me up for a fucking Golden Globe, I want to win. I want to win badly. I would not be able to control my tears, and I'd instantly become the laughing stock of Hollywood. But I'm sorry, all of these people just clap and they're so happy for the person who won. And maybe they're just bigger people than me, or maybe these are literal actors who fake entire personas and personalities for a living. So they're able to like hold back their tears and keep it until like the moment they get back into the limo and go home, and like they just are sobbing. They're sobbing in the bathroom, like makeup running down their faces. Like, maybe that's when they would cry, but I don't have enough emotional control to keep it together during the award ceremony. So if I am up for the best podcasting award, I don't know, I'd give it about 6 years. Maybe in 6 years I'll be nominated. Just be sure to watch me as I lose, because it's going to be a downward spiral. And again, all press is good press, but all the headlines will say she really thought she should win and she's not supportive for the other women or men. But yeah, I'm absolutely going to be tearing up. Can't help myself. So let's talk a little bit about comedy, people. There's been two great comedy specials that came out on Netflix recently. The first being SNL, Marcelo Hernandez's American Boy. And this was incredibly funny. I had a really great time watching this on Friday night. His mom introduced him, and as I mentioned up front, Leo is a mama's boy, but Marcelo, he takes the cake. I think Latino sons are the biggest mama's boys to date at this point. He talks about growing up with a single mom who came here from Cuba as a refugee. Gorgeous woman, by the way. But he talks about his love and respect for his mother, and how, being the son in a house full of women, with his sister being there, and then I guess his mom's friend and her daughter moved in, so it was him and a bunch of ladies. He was talking about, being surrounded by women all of his life and really seeing like what goes into being a woman, the waxing, the this, the that, the spanks, the like, all the bullshit that goes with the territory of being a woman. And it's not just being a woman, it's being like a hot woman with the fucking Brazilian wax and this, that, the other. And he talks about, watching his mom get waxed and being in the room and being shocked by the, utter pain and like the tears in her eyes. He talks about how women have to just pay for more stuff to go on a date. He had this whole bit about if a guy isn't planning on paying for the entire date and wants to split the bill, he should tell you in advance so that you don't get all of the beauty things that you would have, because you're going to have to be paying for, that chicken paillard that you ordered. And he doesn't deserve, waxed eyebrows if he can't fucking pay the whole fucking tab. Men out there, I know there's probably none of you out there listening, but get the bill. Get the bill in the first few days. Just set the tone that you're a fucking man, that you could potentially possibly provide. And again, I know women make more money than men at this point, from 25 to 35-year-old men. But providing for women nowadays is not just financially, it's actually like emotionally, spiritually, physically in the house by helping out with housework. It's not just about providing financially, because women are out earning men at a rapid speed, and it fucking is clear as day. Women are smarter than men. Anyways, great comedy special. I absolutely think everybody should watch it. I will say this actually leads us to Hax's Robbie Hoffman's Netflix special, Wake Up. This is her second special, her first being in 2019. This was directed by comedian John Mulaney. Of course, everybody knows that Robbie Hoffman has the obvious comparison to Larry David, this misanthropic, Jewish, observationalist humor. I like her and I really feel she absolutely steals every scene that she's in Hacks. I believe she was even nominated for an Emmy. But honestly, I kind of found her to be a better actor than as a comic. And I know that is literally the last thing that any comic wants to hear after their special just came out. But I found she has really great comedic delivery, her stage presence, and energy on stage really enhances whatever she's saying, but I kind of felt like a lot of her jokes weren't funny and actually fell flat. A lot of her biggest punchlines were met with kind of like a tepid laughter from the audience. There was one moment that was leading up to like what felt like such a big punchline. And then, she makes this joke about her wife, Gabby, like cutting her toenails on the couch and how disgusting that is. I'm sorry, but I do that, Robbie. I feel like I do a little at home petty while I'm hanging out on the couch. You pick up all your little clippings, but I don't think that that's that gross. But that was just one example of when I kind of felt like her audience was a little bit nervous about what she was going to be saying and where she's going to be taking these stories. She talks pedophilia. She talks about gay couples having kids. She talks about being asked if she's trans. She's definitely very casually homophobic, dropping, homophobic slurs. And everything was gay. She said men who have birthday parties are gay and that birthday parties are just for women and children, which I thought was quite funny, actually. She said football fans are also gay, which is actually something I've been saying as well. Like, nothing is gayer than watching men fight for a ball in skin tight clothing. Yeah, like that's so gay. And she said, like, obviously, like wearing a guy's, name on your back that you like love this other dude so much is gay and like, could be true. She does have a great bit about growing up poor. And so now she has like poor people preferences, like, really rough towels and, eggshell white colored pillows, which is like basically a bit that my dad has basically said. So I felt like a lot of her jokes weren't particularly like new or fresh or groundbreaking. I felt like there were tropes that I've heard before from other comedians, or literally just like, yeah, my dad, or like a guy in a fucking deli. She does describe herself as a reverse Ellen, which I thought was funny because Ellen pretends to be like a kind, sweet lady, just like dancing all over the place, but she's actually a monster in private. Where Robbie was saying that she's actually horrific in public, but actually a real delight behind the scenes. So I agree to that. I mean, I enjoyed it. Would I watch it again? Never in my life, but I enjoyed it. She comes on to Jeff Lewis Live, his radio show, a few times in the last few months. And this past time she was on and was being like really cruel about bisexual people. And I don't know, the other guest, Michael Hitchcock, was like not into it. And all the other guys were like, I don't know. And there was like a bisexual man in the room. And the next day on the show, he was like, yeah, I mean, I feel like my existence doesn't matter anymore. That bitch fucking ripped me a new one. Not crazy about it. So we'll see where Robbie lands. Again, I think she should really stick to acting. She's an amazing actress and excited to see, what's next for her. And obviously excited to see what's next for Marcelo. I mean, he's on SNL right now. I think he's been on since 2022. And he was, I think, made a full-time character last season for the 50th season. And so, he's just destined for movies, the works. Like, he's very much like Adam Sandler, Eddie Murphy. Like, he's on, the track to be, Lauren's new little pet. And I'm excited because I really, really love him. And his bit on SNL a couple of weeks ago where he was pretending to be Sebastian Maniscalco was just absolute perfection. I love Sebastian. I love Marcelo. And I see them having similarities on stage again with that like physical comedy. And I mean, even Marcelo, I'm sorry, I'm like going off script, going off script. But Marcelo like has all of these bits about like how Latino people obviously like are amazing dancers and how growing up like he'd be dancing at family parties until 2-3 in the morning with his drunk uncle and like he was talking about how like white people have no rhythm and like as a kid he like always had like a gorgeous rhythm naturally like innate in his blood and then that like white kids just can't dance, they just simply jump around, and nothing was more accurate than that statement. I mean, you go to a freaking bar bat mitzvah on Long Island for a 13-year-old and everybody's just jumping. You need to fucking double check that, that there's no basement underneath that dance floor, because those kids are fucking jumping to every fucking song throughout the whole night. Staying in the comedy world, we have to talk about the breakup of the century. Ali Wong and Bill Hader have called it quits after 2 years of dating. They said it had to do with their busy schedules, which ultimately was the straw that broke the camel's back. Isn't that always the fucking reason? A source was telling Page Six that Wong is a super sweet girl, very normal, very fun, and easygoing, and Hader is not, clarifying that Hader can be cranky. But the source also said, don't worry, he's also hilarious and clever. So the two of them have been dating for a little bit over 2 years at this point, but I guess they started dating once Ali obviously got out of her past marriage. And he was able to snatch up Ali's phone number through a mutual friend and texted her, "Hey Ali, I just happened to hear the news of your divorce today, and I gotta tell you, I'm excited." He said, "I am, Ali, because look, I've had a crush on you forever, and I actually told my best friend years ago that you were my dream girl. And I know this sounds crazy, but I want you to be my girlfriend." One thing led to another, boyfriend and girlfriend instantly. And I don't know, like, I feel like if I was divorced and I got that text, I'd be like, can you pump the brakes? Like, I'm freshly divorced. I need like 15 minutes to breathe a little bit. But I guess she didn't need those 15 minutes. And, they were seemingly very happy. But, paparazzi snapped some photos of the two of them hugging and crying outside of the car. And I have to say, what paparazzi are just hanging out outside of either of their homes, hoping to get a shot of them going to their mid-sized sedan? I don't know. I will say, Ali Wong and Amy Schumer are both single gals in comedy, so they really should be linking up and hitting the town in search of some hot chuckle fuckers. Get out there, ladies. It's your time to shine. But not to bring up a sore subject. As we know, Bill Hader may have had a little bit of the part in Nick Reiner, possibly killing his parents. I don't believe Bill Hader had any blood on his hands, literally or figuratively. But we all know that Nick Reiner supposedly was annoying the shit out of Bill Hader the night before his murder spree at the Conan O'Brien holiday party. And supposedly, Bill was basically like, "Bro, get the fuck away from me." And everybody saw it, and I guess even people were saying that they possibly were going to call the cops on him. And, Conan was like, "Let's not do that. I don't want to get the cops involved, because then we have culture vultures like me reporting on it on podcasts." So we have some updates on the Nick Reiner case. So we reported a few weeks ago that Alan Jackson will be his attorney. Jackson has represented Karen Reed and disgraced pigs Kevin Spacey and Harvey Weinstein. He decided to withdraw from being Nick Reiner's attorney. So he said he was ethically unable to say why exactly he needed to withdraw, but he said confidently that Nick Reiner is not guilty of murder. Print that. So now Nick Reiner's case is going to be going to a public defender's office. They just found out last week that they would be taking over their case. And all those lawyers are like, shot not. I don't want to deal with this. Like, how do these lawyers defend people who are just so clearly guilty? Like, I understand due process, but I also hate due process. Lock his ass up and throw away the fucking key. Like, who else would have done it? Who else could have done it? And they'll, say that he was going through psychosis, he was in a schizophrenic haze. They'll find any way to, defend, I guess, his character as they need to. But I mean, you killed your parents. What do you think is going to happen? You're going to jail. Also, it seems like the Reiner estate, his two siblings, have completely distanced themselves from Nick as well as this legal case, at least in a financial sense. And I like how Nick is like, I'm going to kill my two benefactors who pay for my entire life, who pay for my car, who pay to let me, who let me live in their house for free, who buy all my food, who probably give me a credit card with unlimited spending every month. Must be nice. I'm going to kill them, but then I'm also going to try to take their money and get a really high profile attorney to represent me to get me off scot-free from killing them. So, honey, you're done. Like, what do you think is going to happen when you kill your parents? You're going to be able to defend your life with a lawyer? Lawyers cost money. Working is something people do for money. so that they can, defend themselves in a murder. But like, you don't have a fucking job. So how are you going to pay for Alan Jackson? Again, one of the biggest fucking lawyers in the business. So I'm sorry. I know I'm rude about him. But I find him to be an entitled little prick. And I can't stand that, two innocent people, seemingly innocent. Again, we don't know everything. We don't know everything, are dead because this fucking entitled asshole, cut their throats and murdered them in bed. So fine. Nikki Glaser actually wore a Spinal Tap hat at the Golden Globes as a subtle nod to Rob Reiner. I feel like he'll get a proper send off at the Oscars for sure. But I mean, this entire situation still makes me very sad and angry. And again, mental illness is so pervasive in society right now. And, this kid is a prime example of like being able to do everything to help and it's still not being enough. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you guys. Take your medicine if you need it. Go to therapy, diet and exercise, the usual song and dance. Those things will fix you, right? But let's stay in Los Angeles, you guys. We're actually going to stay and end the show in Los Angeles. Spencer Pratt, iconic reality star, is taking a page from our president's book and turning to politics. Spencer Pratt is now running for the mayor of Los Angeles. His campaign is called Let It Burn. He announced this on the 1-year anniversary of the devastating fires in Los Angeles, specifically the Pacific Palisades area, where his and Heidi Montag's home was burnt to a crisp, which is, absolutely devastating. So he announced his candidacy for mayor on the 1-year anniversary of the fires beginning. I mean, he was standing up there at the podium in his like fucking basketball shorts and his Let It Burn merch, which like kind of is fire, no pun intended. I will say he has a website, mayorpratt.com. His little blurb says Pacific Palisades resident and Karen Bass's worst nightmare. He's keeping the drama alive. We can't forget that Spencer Pratt really was the architect of The Hills being an amazing show. He's been a, staple on reality TV for a very, very long time. And now he's taking, again, like I said, a page from Trump's book. And he said, let's try to fix this city. I will say his website, mayorpratt.com, didn't have a single thing on it in terms of his policies, what major issues he's standing for, what economic plans he has. So at the moment, it is feeling a bit like a publicity stunt. But again, his home was devastated entirely by the fires in the Pacific Palisades. And a lot of Los Angeles locals were saying that Mayor Karen Bass really shit the bed. She had decided to cut funding for firefighters and, various infrastructure that they needed. And to be quite honest with you, you pay a shit ton of fucking money in taxes in Los Angeles. And it's not a surprise that that area of the world has droughts, which can then lead to fires spreading at massive speeds. You'd think that like the fucking pumps and hydrants would actually be full of water. So you're telling me I can't even park supposedly 15 feet away from this pump in either direction, and it's not even full of fucking water to help fight fires? Make it make sense. He's not running as a Republican or a Democrat. He is a registered Republican, but this run in Los Angeles, and as most Los Angeles municipal races are nonpartisan. So he doesn't necessarily have to pick a side of the political system to really be on. He said the system in Los Angeles isn't struggling. It's fundamentally broken. It is a machine designed to protect the people at the top and the friends they exchange favors for while the rest of us drown in toxic smoke and ash. Not wrong. Not wrong at all. I mean, maybe he will do a lot of good for Los Angeles. I mean, that Karen Bass lady, she really was like not in a good place during those fires. That was not looking too hot for you, Karen Bass, in a city with notorious droughts and fires. Like, it just seems like a grave misstep from the Los Angeles government to not have any of that infrastructure in a good place, just in case a fire like this could happen. But speaking of incredible politicians, did you guys hear my George Santos Part 1 episode that came out this week? I mean, it's so good. Again, I'm incredibly biased. These episodes take me a very long time to put together and produce and edit and record and all the fucking social media videos. So by the time I'm done with it, I'm like very proud of myself. So be sure to check out my part 1 episode that came out last week. Part 2 will be out at the end of this week. So be sure to subscribe and listen to all my deep dives. Especially of George Santos. If you guys don't know George Santos, he is the disgraced congressman from New York who basically lied up and down on his resume. He schemed, he lied, he scammed his way to the top, being a congressman in the wealthiest district in New York. Shout out to Long Island. And he basically was just a fucking liar. And, you know, his history and his lies and his scamming and scheming was really fascinating. I really go into aggressive detail on some of the very specific and random little bits and bobs that I came across while doing research on him. So be sure to check that out. You know who wouldn't be in a toxic mom group? Heidi Montag, the future possible wife of the mayor of Los Angeles. She would have never left Ashley French, née Tisdale, out of the group. So on January 1st, Ashley Tisdale came out, she's going by her husband's last name. I'm sorry. Ashley French came out with an article in The Cut called Breaking Up with My Toxic Mom Group. The subhead saying, I thought I found my village. Instead, I was back in high school. High School Musical, bitch. Stick to the status quo. So, talk about starting the year off with some fresh drama. So, I read this fucking article. It was ridiculous. And enough with the village bullshit. Like, of course, she was looking for friends during a transition into motherhood, which is totally understandable. But, like, you don't know these fucking ladies. What are they? Gonna be your village? I don't know. I'm not a mom yet. Maybe I'll be looking for a village soon. But for now, I don't need a village of random B-list celebrity moms who, you know, all hang out in their gorgeous backyards together. I just don't think I need that right now. So the fellow moms included Hilary Duff, Megan Trainor, Mandy Moore, Gabby Dulkin from What's Gabby Cooking, and Emily Schumann from Cupcakes and Cashmere, as well as just being the overachieving biatch from the hills. I mean, there's a bunch of others, but they're not famous, so do we care? No. Basically, it's just a gaggle of white ladies with highlighted blonde hair with an effortlessly beachy look. All of them have the exact same look. White, shoulder-length hair with a beachy wave. Ashley did say they all had inspiring creative projects and she completely admired them, which makes me barf. She basically said the TLDR, they didn't invite her to hang out. They didn't invite her to dinner parties after they had been like all hanging out. We're in a group chat together. But the biggest sin of all was them posting photos on Instagram of all of them hanging out. The number one rule of leaving someone out is to not post pictures. Have you never iced out a friend before? Clearly not. These girls always had like a mini photo shoot of them. One of them, they were wearing white tracksuits that said mother on them. Or other times they had like chairs perfectly organized in a way to take a gorgeous group shot of all of them. They also took photos at gorgeous dinner parties with the most stunning tablescape I've ever fucking seen. I'd be sad too, Ashley. But you know, she goes on to say they're not bad people. But she does say maybe just one of them was a bad person. My analysis of the situation is that it is Emily Schumann from Cupcakes and Cashmere. I've never fallen for her nice girl behavior. But I will say, like, welcome to being a human being. Sometimes your friends don't like you anymore, and that really sucks, and it actually is genuinely really painful. I do believe I got dumped by a friend earlier this year, and it sucks, and it makes you sad, and it makes you question things about yourself and your relationships and just a lot of things internally. But I'm not going to the cut to write an article about it. That's what a fucking diary is for. She ultimately ends up texting the group saying, this is too high school for me, and I don't want to take part in it anymore. Honey, they don't want you in it. They've been trying to get you out of the group chat for fucking months. They don't invite you places. You are not wanted in the group. Supposedly her sending that text message didn't go over well. Most of the ladies didn't respond, but one girl did send Ashley flowers, and that basically to me says, get well soon, bitch. Like, you're out of the group. Here are the parting flowers from the group. These are the flowers that end our relationship. Know what Ashley Tisdale got from writing this? You know, was it this cathartic experience that she was wanting? Or is it just going to stir up more shit? I imagine the group chat must have been popping the fuck off the day this article came out. It's a New Year's Day. Everybody's with their families, and this shit drops on the fucking cut. You know how many of these ladies had to get a New York Magazine subscription just to read the fucking thing? But I don't know what she wanted. If this was too high school for her in general, then lobbing in a salacious article in the cut about how you feel left out, that is the definition of a petty high school girl move. So I could only imagine now she's going to be seeing these people in the small area of Los Angeles that they live in. There's only like so many towns and so many mommy groups that you can join. Like, you might run into these people again. But I don't know. Did she pitch this story to the cut? Like, why is any of this happening and why do we know any of it? I'm completely obsessed. I'm completely enamored and I'm completely waiting on the edge of my seat for more. But I do feel like this is just going to affect your own mental health and your child's, again, rather than being this cathartic experience of, expressing how you feel. Go to therapy. Go to a week-long retreat in Costa Rica. Go to Pura Vida and like have an existential moment. Take ayahuasca. Deal with the fact that your friends don't want to be your friend anymore, but don't put it in a national publication. I wonder if it's going to be printed out in the New York Magazine that I'm expecting any day now. If it does, I'll let you guys know. But I will say, you just have to move on and find new friends. Again, that's easier said than done, but girl, the article is embarrassing. And it wasn't even well written or interesting. I really thought it was going to be salacious. I like sat down with a cup of coffee. I was ready to dive into it. And then I'm reading it. I'm like, bitch, I've read this shit on Tumblr in my high school days. Like, this is not what I care about. I don't care, whatever. Again, we've all been dumped by a friend. And I, at one point, didn't know if I was being dumped by the friend. And my dad made a joke to me and he said, Megan, if you don't know if you've been dumped by your friends, you've absolutely been dumped by your friend. And sometimes you just need a fucking kick in the ass and realize, honey, they don't like you. And that's okay. Other people will like you. But Hillary Duff, Meghan Trainor, Mandy Moore, Gabby Dulkin, Emily Schumann, they fucking hate your guts. Move on. I will say Hillary's loser husband got involved. Her husband, Matthew Coma, took a picture of himself in the exact same pose and style as Ashley, with a fictional headline to the photo saying, "When you're the most self-obsessed, tone-deaf person on earth, other moms tend to shift their focus on their actual toddlers." The sub-headline read, "A mom group tell-all through a father's eyes." Read my interview with the cut. To quote Nene Leakes, stay out of women's business. Get the fuck out of here, you loser. If my husband was posting an Instagram story dissing Ashley Tisdale, I'd say you're a fucking loser. You know what? This drama should beget a diss track from Hillary Duff. That is a song that I would gladly listen to. I will say, you guys, this story is very interesting. I'm excited to see where it takes us. I feel like this is not over. Of course, none of the other ladies have really addressed it. Mandy Moore, mum's the word from her. Emily Schumann, nothing. Gabi, nothing. And Meghan Trainor did come out with a really lame TikTok of her like typing online being like, what drama are we talking about? Meghan Trainor, get out of the fucking culture conversation. I'm done with her. I'm the only Meghan that I can really be focusing on at this point in my life. But yeah, I mean, none of them have really given us anything. So I am hoping for some kind of petty retaliation from one of these ladies. But I will just continue to wait with bated breath. You guys, there's a ton of Bravo TV news that we need to discuss this week, so be sure to tune into Wednesday's episode of I Know You Didn't Ask to hear all about it. I'm trying to find a guest. It's a little last minute, but we'll see what I can do. Friday's episode will be the part 2 of the George Santos deep dive, so be sure to tune in, rate, subscribe, review, and all of the things. And you guys, please, please, please follow me on TikTok, more so than Instagram, sorry. TikTok is where it's at, Megan the Podcaster, and you can see all my fun videos. You guys, I got 5,000 views on a video. That's really, really cool for me. So thank you so much for listening to the show, watching me grow, and just being fucking awesome. So many people are so fucking awesome in the DMs. Every once in a while, you'll get a cunty, nasty bitch, but you know what? I give it, so I have to take it. So that's just a circle of life. Thank you so much for listening and have a great rest of your week. Bye. New episodes of the I Know You Didn't Ask podcast are out every Monday and Friday, available wherever you listen to podcasts and on YouTube.